This floor is a mess. We have a problem, guys. In there. I love this thing. It's like Narnia. It's like, ooh. See ya, sucker! Are you guys seeing these monster leaves? Are you seeing how much space it's taking up? But that's the least of our worries. You need to come closer and see what's going on. So we have a very special boy right here. This is, where are you? There you are. This is Anthurium papillolaminum. Look at the size of these leaves. He is growing at the bottom of this cabinet in the dark. I don't know how he has gotten this big, but I need you to see the root situation because it's getting a little bit out of hand. Oh, wait. Where is your... Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, wait. Guys, the forgetti is going to get ripped out too. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Ah, and there we go. You can't even see him. He's so freaking dark. He's darker than the cabinet behind me. Look at that. Oh, and my shirt. I should have wore a white shirt. If I sit here, oh, look at that, guys. Whoa. It's like a black hole of leaves. Oh my God. So yeah, that is Anthurium papillolaminum, and look at the back of the leaves. It's these beautiful, what's that, maroon? It's beautiful. And I don't have another Anthurium that looks like this on the front and this on the back. I kind of want to display him as his own thing somewhere else. I have grown him in ambient conditions before. He's not in here because he's finicky. This is quite a hardy species, or at the very least a very hardy specimen. He's been growing in this jar since I got him from my friend. Look at all those roots. Can you see, or is it gonna, I have to hide my face? Are you see? Oh no, I can't do it this way or else the leaf. Are you? Wow. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Oh my God. Are you seeing the worms taking over? Femissimo. But what I want to do is actually uppot him because he's definitely too big for this pot now. And he's at a point where I want him to get big. He's gotten this big. He's growing fast. I want him to get bigger. I want just like a big floor plant pap. Because I don't see anyone else have that. You know, I see people grow them on shelves and stuff, but like, I want a big, you know what I'm saying? With the Cupolaspathum right next to him. But another big reason why I want to take him out of the cabinet is because I have other specimens that I would love to put in here. I don't have the room for it. So, have you noticed that when I took him out, look at all this empty space. Wait, if I put the light on it, can you kind of see, is it illuminating? Look at all this space. I could put a plant there. I could put something there. There are a lot of empty pots that I can put things in, and they've been empty for a long time because the pack just got so big I couldn't put anything in there. I couldn't grow anything down at the bottom of the terrarium because these leaves were hogging all the light. Motherfucker. Yeah, this is great because I can add a few more plants in here. And this terrarium is not only beautiful, but it's great for managing my plant collection. Because I can just throw plants in here, and I water it as one vessel, I fertilize it, I care for it, it's all one thing. So it kind of feels like just one plant, or one planterior design, one piece of art made up of greenery, made up of live, organic plant matter. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, guys, I got so many anthuriums in here. I got orchids in here. I got philodendrons in here. I've got, like, just, I have a new Scindapsus that I recently put in here that I got from Plant Corner. I'm gonna try that out because it looks really cool. I think it's called Silver Lady. It's like a little bit more vibrant than like the regular, you know, one that you see everywhere. So, yeah, and I have this. I have some weird hybrids in here that are kind of cool that I wouldn't have the space to aesthetically, you know, decorate my apartment with them and put them everywhere. It would just be too much. But if I have them all in here, it just takes the load off. Everything's in here. Everything has a purpose when it's creating this green wall. You feel me? Okay, enough chatting, Jake. We need to get to repotting this guy over here. Ta-da! I do love this tarp, especially when I use it, because I still find that I will just repot things and make a mess on the floor. So when I actually do use this, It just makes my world a lot easier and more manageable. Because I make a mess. All the time. I'm still making a mess. I'm making a mess right now. So yeah, we have to do this kind of swiftly because these aerial roots, the only reason they're growing like this is because it's in this cabinet with very, very high humidity. Upwards of 90%. Do you see how it has a lip? It's not perfectly cylindrical. So I can't pull that root system out without doing some inevitable damage. And I'm going to be potting him in this perfectly cylindrical vase so that I can repot him quite easily going forward. But this lip, yeah, we can't do that. We can't do it. So I'm going to have to break it. I'm going to have to break into his home and steal him in the night. I sound like a frog today. I just sound like, ugh. I think I'm still getting over a really bad cold that I had. Because my throat is just, ugh, it's just, oh my goodness. I can hit some bass notes today. Ah. Oh yeah. Is this better, guys? I have a light on the leaves so you can kind of see them. And then I moved in closer. All right, we're gonna take a plastic bag. We're going to put him in the plastic bag. We're gonna put our gloves on. And then what we're going to do is break into his home. Oh! So now let's take off the shards. This is kind of me just paying for my mistakes of using vessels with a lip. So to avoid having to break into your plant's home, just use a cylindrical vase. So either use a cup with a wider lid, or lid, the lip, wait, what? With a wider lip, like that, or no lip, or cylindrical, so it just slides right out. I'm gonna take this, move this over there, and look at that, no glass. No glass, we're good, okay? We're still cooking. Now we're gonna take our bigger vase, I'll put it here so you can see it. I planted this guy in moss with a fluval stratum base. And I'm going to continue using that because I have fluval stratum on hand. I will say though, his roots are pretty thick, so he could be in pumice. Maybe he could be in leca. I don't know, maybe. That's for you to decide if you have leca and you want to try it out. I have not grown these in leca, so I don't know, but his roots are pretty thick, so they're probably not too sensitive or can handle drying out a little bit. Because he already has the base and he's still holding on to everything, which is great. You want a root system that is kind of holding its figure when you're repotting. We're gonna put him right in there, just like that. It's about an inch bigger in diameter, more or less. I find that when I have gloves, everything feels more cumbersome. All right, there we go. And now we're going to take our handy dandy paintbrush, and we are going to just move all of that stuff around. So it all lines up where his reservoir line originally was. Okay, looking pretty good. We might need just a little bit more. My computer fan is running right now, but the computer's off. I don't know why it's doing that. The computers are stupid. Everything's stupid. Except for this guy. Looking good. So now what we're going to do, I'm a little bit short on moss, but that's okay, because I have a lot of tree fern. So I am going to mix a little bit of both. So we got some water right here. Let me move this guy so you can see what I'm doing. So here's the water. We're going to mix in a handful of moss. And then we're going to take some tree fern. And the leaves are blocking your view, I'm sorry. All right, and we'll mix that up a little bit. We'll need more than this. So you know what, let's just use the whole thing. The whole thing, get some more tree fern. I got this shirt at one of the holiday marketplaces, I think. Was it Union Square? Was it Columbus Circle? It was one of those. I really like it. There are some people that grow anthuriums in aeroid mixes. There are some people that grow just in moss. And then some people grow just in tree fern and they swear by it. Some people grow just in pond. People swear by that. Some people use a mixture of some things, which is what I'm doing. And I find that not every substrate works for every individual and every collection, every environment. Because some people say, Jake, I don't know how you use moss all the time because it dries out way too fast for me. And I'm like, well, it doesn't dry out fast for me. It actually soaks up a lot of water and stays pretty moist like a sponge. It stays pretty saturated for quite a while. But when it dries out, it gets dry, like bone dry. But I think there are benefits to having a mixture of different media in your substrate. That way, not everything will retain water the same way, and not everything will dry out at the same rate. So even if the moss dries out, you'll still have some pockets of tree fern that might be saturated, or vice versa. If you have perlite in there, perlite is very porous, that can hold on to some moisture. If you have soil in there, or like a little bit of peat moss, I wouldn't recommend growing most anthuriums in peat moss. Some people might do it, but for other plants that like moisture, like calatheas, they tend to like a little bit of peat moss in their mixture because it retains moisture for a very long time. And I think that might be enough. We'll see. Let's get some of this moss in there. Get in here. Join the party. Guys, we're cooking. We're cooking. I feel like I'm like, what is it, kneading dough? Is it kneading? Meeting? I don't know. I feel like a chef where I'm making the dough. Anyway, all right, let's just get to this, Jake. Shut the fuck up. All right, we're just going to put some of this substrate around. Guys, repotting, this is like the easiest way to repot. Have you ever seen those videos? Maybe you saw some of those videos when you just started out. I know I did. Where you went on plant YouTube and you saw those videos where people are like, oh, you gotta unpot your plant and you gotta break up the root system and you gotta loosen up the roots and you gotta untangle them all and you gotta get in there with a stick and poke holes in the substrate. You gotta shake off all the soil. Just absolutely annihilating your plant, and it's just absolutely unnecessary. I absolutely detest those videos. I think they are awful. I think they are spreading such misinformation. Because here's the thing, you ever hear people in plant care videos say, oh, like, careful when you repot because this plant doesn't like to have its roots disturbed. You hear that a lot with palms. If you have palms in your home, you might hear that palms don't like to have their roots disturbed. Let me tell you something. There is no plant that likes to have its roots disturbed. Can you imagine if a giant hand just swooped in and yanked you out of your house? Can you imagine that? Would you like that? Here's the thing. Nobody and nothing likes to be disturbed. Is there any living organism on planet Earth that likes to be disturbed? I don't think so. So, to me, it just kind of makes no sense when they say, oh, this plant doesn't like to have its roots disturbed. Well, yeah, motherfucker, no plant likes that. No human would like that. So, like, I just don't get it. Like, it's dumb. It's dumb. It's like, Home Depot Garden Center 101. And I'm just out here like, no, that is the worst information you could possibly give people. Oh, I think, you know what, this is going to be enough. Medium. Very minimal root disturbance, root breakage. I mean, honestly, literally no root disturbance except for like this tip right here. And I'm gonna break him off anyway. I'm actually gonna do it right now. There. Oh, actually, wait, no. Guys, take it. Where is? Here it is. Guys, don't do it the way I did. Take some actual shears and cut it off. And I'm going to take this one off too, because he's gonna dry up anyway. Because honestly, guys, most of the roots, except for those two, are now below the medium, and that's what you want. Because these are terrestrial. There are a lot of anthuriums that are epiphytic. These are not. Or sometimes they grow on slopes. Paps are actually known to grow on slopes with like broken ground in central Panama. So that's probably a little bit more aeration than actually growing in the ground, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, guys, they're found to be terrestrial. You know, you're not gonna see a pap growing on a tree. You're not gonna see it climbing. Here's the thing, guys, they don't really climb. So you don't need to put your pap on a pole. You don't need to put it on a moss pole. Yes, terrestrial Anthuriums will put out what looks to be aerial roots, but the only reason they do that is because, one, they're very opportunistic, and two, because again, they can grow in places where it's not even. So if they're growing upwards, like vertically, like this, up towards the light, and they're on a slope like this, they might have their stem very gradually, very slowly over time grow upwards, up that slope. So yes, they will put out what looks like aerial roots, kind of, like they might technically be aerial roots. They might have another term for them, I'm not sure. But it's like kind of not really the same thing, but it kind of is. You know what I mean? It's a little bit hard to describe, but I'm actually going to Panama in, is it March? Yeah, March. And I am so excited. I'm going to shoot a music video there, but I'm also going to be shooting a vlog documentary there. I want to see if I can find paps in nature, because I would love the opportunity to document the wild specimens and to just spread awareness. Like, guys, these things do not grow like weeds down there. These are commodities. Paps, I also want to look for Dressleries and Cunayalense. Probably the three most popular aeroids that are being poached right now, or that have recently been poached. Through various means, I was able to track down some coordinates of some known localities. I won't be sharing those coordinates just because, you know, I don't want that information to fall into the wrong hands. But it might not mean anything anyway, because those localities that I'm going to go check out and those coordinates, they might already be gone. That it might be already poached. There might be nothing there. So I will be so happy if I can find one pap or one dress or one kuna, because that would just be so amazing. If I could just find one of those. By the way, guys, there's plenty other Anthuriums in Panama that I'm going to be looking for. There's Panamense, or the Panamense, Panamense or Panamanense? I don't know. It's a cool one. It's like a long leaf one. Looks a little bit like the Esmeralda Queen, like a lighter Warqueanum. Looks kind of like that. Wendlingeri is in Panama, but that might be more like Western Panama, Costa Rica. I'm going to be in Central Panama, so I might not see that one. But there are a lot of Anthuriums I'm going to see there. Anthuriums overall grow like weeds there, but not every single species, you feel me? So while Anthuriums are going to be very abundant there, this particular one does not grow like a weed. You're not going to find this just growing as a landscape plant or like on the side of the road. Like, you have to really look for it. Jesus Christ. Like, you have to really look for it. Alright guys, that's it. That is literally it. Let's clean up. Quick time lapse. Guys, I totally forgot something. I want to add just a little bit of charcoal on top for its antibacterial properties. So I'm going to use that as a little bit of a top dressing / top layer, if you will. I'm going to mix it in just to the top inch, half an inch. Do this before you clean up. But yeah, good things come with using charcoal for sure. Alright, so usually after I do repotting on the floor, even using the tarp, I'm just going to have my Roborock spot clean, a little section right there, and start cleaning. I love this guy. He mops, he scrubs, and he vacuums. Oh, I hate this angle because you can see all of that mess down there. When you're standing up, you can't see it, but down here, you can see it, so just don't look at that. But yeah, now he's washing his mop. He's gonna clean himself up. I love that. I don't have to touch him, like, ever, except to replace things that need to be replaced. Like, if the bristles or whatever get worn out on the scrubber, you know, I'll buy a new one of those. And these things, that's where all the dirt goes for the vacuum. Clean water with, like, the soap in it, and then there's the dirty water. And that's it. And it just happens to match my sprayer for my cabinet. So it looks very utilitarian. Utilitarian? That's not a word. Is that a word? It looks very utility-ish. So it kind of matches the whole thing right there. So yeah, I love it. That's a Roborock. That's a S7 Max V Ultra. It's one of their top ones. So anyway, that was my Christmas present to myself last year. Oh, by the way, this noise only lasts maybe like 2 to 3 minutes. And then he comes back out, he turns around, and he docks himself. And then he's gonna empty his dustbin. And now he's gonna charge. Oh, by the way, this thing right here, there's a little bit of a humming sound. Do you hear that? He's actually blow drying. He's silently blow drying his mop so that it doesn't stay damp and get moldy and nasty. So yeah, it dries in like, you know, I don't know, an hour or something, when this slowly dries it off on the back. I love this thing, it's great. I'm very lazy. It's great for lazy people and people that love robots. And just like that, oh, dirty nails. And just like that, and just like that, he is totally done. Look at him, oh my god. He is so dark, the camera just refuses to pick up any chlorophyll. Yeah, that's the word. Chlorophyll on his ass. I just want to show you real quick the new leaves. They come in, again, it doesn't, I'll put in a picture so you can see what they look like in reality because it doesn't come off on camera. Jake, what are you doing? I'm always watching you. Always. There's the camera. Always watching you. Hey guys, that was it. I'm going to water him a little bit more. I'm going to fertilize him. I'm going to clean off his leaves because the leaves in there get pretty dirty. Some of them get a little bit of algae on them, a little bit of dirt and grime and stuff. So I'll clean off his leaves so he looks nice and pristine. And I know where I'm going to put him. Let me turn you over this way. Push it. Oh, right there. I am selling this guy to somebody who's going to pick him up in a couple of days before Christmas. I'm recording this before Christmas. And I'm going to put him on a little pedestal so he's above everyone else. And he's going to fill in that space right there. He's going to look so good. The reason I'm getting rid of my Majestic is because I have 2 others. I can't stop looking at him. There's nothing to look at. He's just a bunch of black hole leaves. Like, he's just, no light can even reflect off him. He's just black holes. That's just all he is. Look at this. He's blacker than my what is this thing called? A shirt! He's blacker than my shirt. I'm still a little bit sick, yeah. I thought I was done being sick. I guess I'm a little bit sick still. If I could see these guys in the wild and document it for you guys, that would be amazing. Stay tuned for that. That'll be in March again, so don't hold your breath. It's a few months out. I'm very happy this guy is such an easygoing species. Unlike Droslery, unlike Kunailense. By the way, let me show you those 2 real quick. They're right here in this tank. And the tank is to preserve some humidity. It's about, this morning it was like 59% humidity, not very high. Now it's 79. So it fluctuates. Usually in the evening it gets up to like 80 or 90. During the day it kind of goes down a little bit. But these guys have been doing pretty good. These are 2 kunas here and then a dress here. Let me bring you guys down because you're so high up you can't see nothing. Look at the Eupolis bathum. Since I repotted it, it's putting out that leaf right there. Do you see that? It's gonna be amazing. So there's the trio. So we got 2 Kunas on the right. We got the little dress on the left. I haven't had those guys as long as the Pap. I've had the Pap since, I don't know, earlier this year, first half of this year. And I've only had these guys since like September, and it's December now. So yeah, obviously they're a lot younger, but the Kunas, they're actually behaving. Pretty much everyone's behaving. The dress recently dropped a bunch of its juvenile leaves. The 2 big leaves on it are still looking pretty good. The one on the left is getting a little bit brown on the edges and stuff, but the newest leaf that you can see is still looking pristine, so, and it's looking very, very dark. I have it in this windowsill. It's a north-facing windowsill because the grow lights are just a little bit too bright for the dress and probably the Kunas. You could probably acclimate them to very, very bright light or bright grow lights, but they tend to get those darker leaves, and they tend to really get nice coloration when they're in deeper shade, because that's where they grow in nature. But yeah, we got a new leaf coming in on this guy right here. That right there's the newest leaf on this one, and I think, yeah, behind he has another leaf coming out. So they are doing quite well. The Kunas have been pretty fast growing. The dress, not so much, but again, only had him for maybe 2.5 months or something. And he has put out at least 2 leaves. So you know what, maybe it's just in my head. But I don't know, he's not sizing up quite as quickly as most of my other Anthuriums, including the 2 next to him. So dress lilies are very slow growing. They're notoriously slow growing, unless you get a good specimen that's very vigorous for you. But I'm looking at him. I think he is pregnant with a new leaf. I think a new leaf's about to come in. Just, guys, do you remember I used to have another Dresslery? Well, that one died a while ago. And yeah, I'm just really hoping that this guy really pulls through and can get to as big as that Pap. Because honestly, once they get to a big size like that, from what I understand, they tend to be pretty easygoing. It's when they're seedlings that they can be very fussy. And that's usually how long people have them until they crash and die. So people, I think, judge Dressleries based off of their juvenile forms because that's how most people grow them. But I think, from what I understand, or what people have said, what people have claimed, once they get to a big size, they're pretty easygoing and they're pretty easy to maintain. So now I have to consider, what can I put down here to fill in all this space? I'd like to put this guy back in. This is Bessier and Bvep. He's very interesting. It's not going to come off on camera, but, oh, it actually is a little bit. You see that beautiful silver sheen like that? Oh, yes. Very fast grower. And this guy has these beautiful red stems. Very, very nice plant. Nice primary hybrid. And I think I'm going to put him, will he fit if I put him in that space where the Pap was? And then I had this Bess. Bess, I've come to realize Bess is not the best. It's beautiful, but it's such a slow grower. Like, you put out 1 leaf since I got you like 3-4 months ago, and nothing. So let's put you, how about I put you here? Let's put you in front of this leaf. Yeah, and that leaf is getting quite a bit of light from this light right there. Can you see that? Yeah. And I think that's, yeah, that's okay for now, right? Yeah, and now I got more room for stuff over there. Great. All right, well, thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you didn't like it, well, hey, I appreciate you watching until the end. All right, it's been real, guys. Now get out of here. This has been Jake, also known as Plant Gate for Life. Fast forward a bit, as I was watering him, I did take note that he is getting a little bit floppy, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to let you guys know that that will happen. If you have a plant that's in a terrarium, and you take it out of the terrarium, you take it out of that high humidity, and you have it in what's right now 37% humidity, what it's reading on my, what is that thing called, a hygrometer? The humidity reader? So yeah, that's going to happen. So I've seen people show time lapses of like plants that, oh, I take it out of the greenhouse and it just like withers away or it just gets all floppy and stuff. Okay, first of all, guys, you're panicking. Stop panicking. And you have to understand that you're drastically changing the plant's environment. This has happened before. Now, unless you have a very finicky species that requires high humidity, for example, Anthurium splendidum is a notorious example. They are cloud forest species. This is a lowland species. It's not a cloud forest species. It's a highly opportunistic, adaptable species. So this will be floppy for a few hours, but probably by the end of the day or by tomorrow morning, it's going to plump back up. It was so used to all of that moisture in the air, and now it's just like, all you gotta do, guys, is just make sure it has plenty of water. Give it a little bit more water than you might usually give it, because it needs to compensate for that loss of moisture in the air. But guys, that is going to happen if you take a plant out of a super high humid environment. It's going to flop over on you a little bit, okay? Don't freak out. It might even crisp up a little bit, some of the old leaves. That's okay too. It will adapt. The new leaves will come in that new environment. Also, if you have a plant that's been growing in ambient conditions, low humidity, you put it into a terrarium, sometimes the plant will melt. That's not necessarily a death sentence. Sometimes, especially begonias, I've noticed, they might melt a little bit, but then they're gonna put out new leaves that are adapted to that environment. So just keep that in mind, guys. All right, get out of here.